I want to welcome you to this afternoon sitting. I want to take this opportunity to commend you for the timely consideration of the National Budget Framework paper, which you finished last week. That is financial year 2025-2026, 2029-2030, in line with the Rule 145 of the Rules of Procedure and Section 9, Subsection 8 of the Public Finance Management Act 2015. As I've always stressed, the legacy of 11th Parliament will be that of efficiency, and we must be able to fulfill the constitutional deadlines, and that's what leads to our effectiveness and our responsiveness. Aware that the efficiency and effectiveness is dependent on the timeliness of submission of budget and its related documents, I want to hereby guide as follows on the timelines of the yearly budget process. 1, in the same vein, I also want to urge the front bench to timely submit the ministerial policy statements as per Rule 146.1 of the Rules of Procedure, which stipulates that by 15th of March, the ministerial statements shall be brought to the House. However, 15th of March will be a Sunday. That will now require us to have the ministerial statement in the House between 11th and 13th of March. And I hope the ministers on the front bench will relay that information. I see the 2. There are now 3. I'm counting them out of 83. Additionally, I will require the leader of opposition to ensure that he submits the alternative policy proposals by 27th March, given that the timeline of 29th March stipulated in under Rule 147 also falls on a Saturday, so you can do it earlier than that time. Honorable members, as you may be aware, that Section 4 of the Leadership Code Act 2002 requires a leader to specifically declare his income, assets, liabilities after every 2 years. To declare poverty? Yes. So, members, I want to urge you to make sure that you go and declare your riches. You can go and declare the riches and poverty to IGG. Fill the forms so that you're not caught by the law. And that will help us in accountability and transparency in whatever we do, and it will help you as leaders, because you know very well if you do not do that, you can be able to lose your seat. So let's do that. Let's abide by the law. I want to thank you so much for coming for this afternoon session. Atkins, what happened? These days you sit there. Thank you so much. Yes, honorable members, you'll allow me to amend the order paper to receive a report from Leader of Opposition on his oversight visit to Inspire Africa Coffee Factory in Ntungamo. So, Leader of Opposition, you will present your report. Is on my communication? Yes.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, as you were making a clarion call to the front bench to make a timely submission of the ministerial policy statement, Minister Mafavi, who was present, the rest were just entering, majority of whom even the Honorable Minister of State for Fisheries was here. But of course, these are a minority, Madam Speaker. Majority of the front bench are, as usual, conspicuously absent. Madam Speaker, our side has already been whipped by yours truly. And by that date, we shall be ready with the alternative policy statements. But this is a bad omen. This is a very bad sign from the front bench that they have perfected the art of delaying this very important mandate like this one of the budget preparation. You would rather crack your whip, Madam Speaker, this time round. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. The government chief whip should hear this, that he needs to crack his whip. We will not be presiding officers at the same time the whips. Mine truly, you're doing a good job. Yes, the procedure on which rule?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I'm standing on the procedural issue, Madam Speaker. You insist serious discipline to be paramount here, and the members of Parliament, when they have any issues, whether petitions, they receive their members here. But yesterday we saw aggressors where fellow members of Parliament are attacking the institution of Parliament by saying, why are members saying this in the House? And among them was Honorable Kabanda, another honorable member called Jimmy Mawanda, and the third one, who is very rare in Parliament, and Mr. Honorable Ruanga.
Now, Honorable, you raised that issue when Honorable Kabanda is here, when the Honorable Mawanda is here. You know very well we cannot discuss about members who are not in the House. I will give you to raise it.
Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Yes.
So
you wait, when they are in the House, you will raise it.
Can I say my last issue? Not on that one.
Not on that one.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. From your communication, you talked about ministerial policy statements, and I had come to your office on the same matter, where we have seen a report coming from a commission headed by Honorable Anua Amanya Mushega, giving new changes in education system, but we have not got a single copy as members of Parliament. And even the Committee of Education, we pray through you, Madam Speaker, that Ministry of Education, all the changes they brought, let them provide with members of Parliament the report, because an open document, so that we digest and know the changes they are bringing. But the public is getting different information. For example, Madam Speaker, we are not sure whether it's true, because you have not seen that document. You cannot say that there is any change which is going to join National Cultural Development Center with UNEB. Those are issues we have to look at. But if the document is not given to us,
these are by acts of law, of Parliament. How can you put UNEB together with the National Development Center? I think you're speaking on hearsay.
That's why, Madam Speaker, I'm seeking for intelligence that this document should be available to members of Parliament, because the information I have, even at the presentation, those who were there never got copies. We who are interested in education, we pray, Madam Speaker.
Let's first get the copies, we study them, and then we will act on them once we have gotten the copies. Thank you. Yes.
Madam
Most
Speaker.
obliged,
There's a
Madam
procedure
Speaker.
matter here.
Procedure, Madam Speaker.
I asked you on which rule?
Right Honorable Speaker, I refer to Rule 224 of the Rules of Parliament. Right Honorable Speaker, it provides that the heading is contempt of Parliament. Right Honorable Speaker, it is provided for that it is contempt of Parliament when an act or omission which obstructs or impedes Parliament in the performance of its functions, or which obstructs or impedes a member or officer of Parliament in the discharge of his duties, or affronts the dignity of Parliament, all which tends either directly or indirectly to produce such a result, shall be contempt of Parliament. Right Honorable Speaker. And Right Honorable Speaker, the procedural matter I want to raise is, I'm a member of the Defense and Internal Affairs Committee. I'm also the Shadow Minister for Internal Affairs. Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, first of all, I want to commend the police of Uganda for having allowed Ugandans yesterday to demonstrate peacefully. How I wonder that the same is extended to all people who would wish to call out any form of demonstration. Having said that, Right Honorable Speaker, I now go for the procedural matter, the rule I've raised. Right Honorable Speaker, we heard yesterday that people are promising to lynch members of your Committee of Defense and Internal Affairs. And why? Because we, in our capacity as a Committee of Parliament, in the discharge of our duties, Right Honorable Speaker, we invited the commander, the CDF of this country, not as a person, but as an officer in that office, Right Honorable Speaker. It is even more sad that some of the demonstrators were members of this House, Right Honorable Speaker.
Honorable.
The procedural matter I want to raise now.
Just a minute. I have just made a ruling to that effect. The people you said were demonstrating are not here. What you're saying that they want to lynch the members of Parliament, if they want to do anything to a member of Parliament, they have to write to the Speaker. I have not got a letter to that effect. That's why you see nobody came here. Now, if you had that, I'm here to get information, and just be rest assured you're safe.
Right Honorable Speaker, the information you are yet to receive is what I'm giving you.
Okay. Now,
to Right Honorable Speaker.
Please sit. We do not legislate in anticipation. Okay? Madam Teacher, Madam
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Now I want to guide me further as the whole procedure still under your Lulu 8, talking about your general powers. Will these general powers of yours also summon, because you have said we should raise this matter when our colleagues are here, but what about those people who are not members of this House? Should also wait for them to talk about them.
We should not discuss members who are not members of this House in the House.
I'm talking about other people who demonstrated against Parliament.
We shall not talk about them because they are not members of the House. We are only waiting for the ones who are members of the House to respond to themselves.
Right Honorable Speaker. Now, Right Honorable Speaker, I beg. It's another matter.
No. Speaker. We have other people.
Madam Speaker.
Yes, Madam Speaker. Don't abuse my generosity. You'll come back.
Speaker.
Honourable members, in the public gallery this afternoon, we have students from Ether Makerere University School Association. They have come to observe the proceedings of this House. These people expect a lot from you when you're discussing. You should be able to guide and help them and show them how things can be done in this House. We also have in the public gallery this afternoon. Where are they? Please stand. Please stand. You're most welcome. Welcome. Join me in receiving them. You're most welcome. The students of Ether Makerere University Students Association. I don't know the abbreviation. What is it? It could be an abbreviation. Then in the public gallery this afternoon, we have a delegation of Executive Committee of Uganda District Council Speakers Association, where I'm a patron in that association. You're most welcome, my people, my colleagues. Those are the speakers of the local councils. You're most welcome, and thank you so much for coming. Those are the people who chair the councils. You want to speak on behalf of on my behalf? She wants to welcome my people first.
Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I happen to be the Shadow Minister for Local Governments.
Yes.
So on behalf of the local governments and on behalf of the Speakers Association, Right Honorable Speaker, the patron of the speakers, allow me to appreciate you and also to thank you for the time you are with them in Wakiso District. I thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you so much.
Proceed, Madam Speaker.
Yes.
Madam Speaker, I am always very proud of your wise guidance when you are in that chair. Madam Speaker, horrible numbers have brought an issue that you have rolled on, and your guidance has been very wonderful, but has brought worries in me that the key people who were the ringleaders of the demonstration, Honorable Mawanda in particular, is always not in this house. And Honorable Wanga is always not in this house. Madam Speaker, and this is Honorable Mawanda is on bail.
Please. Please. Please.
Madam Speaker, I'm worried he might totally decide.
Please sit. Honorable, yes, Honorable Atkins. When Honorable Mawanda is here, you'll raise it. No, he's going to come. This is where he belongs. Yes, Honorable Atkins.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. First of all, I want to welcome you back to the family and to the house. Madam Speaker, around September last year, I presented on the floor of Parliament the issues as they relate to Kasese as a community. Madam Speaker,
have we gone to matters of national importance?
No, this is not a matter. It's something that you directed upon. That's the reason why I'm bringing it as a procedure issue. And also delivering greetings from your uncle, His Majesty the King of the Renzururu Kingdom, Omsinga Wesley Mumbere Irmangoma. Greetings, Madam Speaker.
You clap for my uncle.
All right. Madam Speaker, to let you know that your uncle, together with the leaders that are hailed from Kasese as a community, are assembling 18 points. And His Majesty the King asked me to deliver his deepest gratitude to you when he ruled on that day in September that when those 18 points master plan are assembled together by the leaders and with the signatures, they will be brought to your office for your endorsement and approval.
Madam Speaker.
He's on procedure. Atkins, just finish.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate it, Madam Speaker. To let you know, Madam Speaker, there's some time next week. Our chairperson at the district level, El-Safai, will be traveling to Kampala and is going to join with the leaders that are in this house by privilege of members of Parliament. and Madam Speaker will have the 18-point master plan assembled together, and we're going to come to your office for the other approval, Madam Speaker.
Thank
That's
you.
what I want to bring your attention.
No problem. Honorable Minister of Education. Honorable Minister of Education, while we're here, there was a procedure matter that was raised on the issue of, can you repeat your issue?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And the Honourable Minister, I raised an issue about the report that was presented by Honourable Amanya Mushega on the educational reforms.
And remember, Honourable Amanya Mushega was on the Commission of Inquiries.
Yeah, so our issue here is that we members of Parliament, including myself, we have not got a chance of getting copies of that report. But we are sure it's a public document because it consumed the money from the consolidated fund. So if you could guide us on that, and we welcome you from releasing all-level exams, you have spoken more than 30 times the word mama. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Honorable Minister. Honorable, it doesn't matter whether you call the name Mama 100 times. That's the person who gave birth to you. Honorable Minister, this document, which was out of a commission of inquiry, was it presented to Cabinet? The Amanya report?
Thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker and dear colleagues. Right Honourable Speaker, in the morning we released to the public the results of the UCE first cohort to in the new curriculum, and I can share with you that so far so good. The performance was very good, and I want to thank you, particularly Right Honourable Speaker, and the committee here that has always come out to support us. And there is a lot of good work that's going on to implement the new curriculum. Right Honourable Speaker, of course the Amanya report has come out. It has been handed over to the ministry, and we are studying it before we roll it out to the public. We are studying the report, and soon this report will be presented to Parliament and the Cabinet. But we have put up a committee to study, a technical committee to study and advise government concerning the issues that were raised by that report. I submit, Right Honourable Speaker.
Thank you. Honourable members, when the report of a commission of inquiry is presented, Honourable Seungu, when the report is completed, it is given to the ministry, and the ministry will prepare a white paper. And it is in this white paper which translates into a policy. And the policy then is brought to Parliament for consideration. And when that policy is brought to Parliament for consideration, this is provided for under the Commission of Inquiry Act. You need to check the Act, and the Minister of Education will be required to bring a policy to Parliament after Cabinet has considered. That is the right procedure, and that is what is supposed to be done. So for what is happening now, that is not a complete document. It has to go through Cabinet. It will have to come here for an approval, and then it will become an act. It will become a policy.
So obliged, Madam Speaker, but still my prayer to the Minister is that they have a communication office and a ministry. They should dispose of any misleading information by the leading paper of government, New Vision. Because what comes out is what is taken as a debate in public. and it leads to confusion. And him as a professional teacher like me, he knows what comes out by leaving wrong notes on the blackboard after teaching. It will just expose the messes within mistakes of a teacher. He knows that once you finish teaching, you clean the blackboard. So keep your document confidential until, but it's the government leading paper that is giving information to the public that is causing a lot of debate. And that's the spirit in which I brought that matter. And Madam Speaker, if I'm brought to the Minister, I would request him, we need to do some amendment on the UNEB Act. Exams, when you cheat exams, they are all parameters to punish you. But when you complain about giving you wrong results in your school, there is no room to complain in the Act. And the parents, schools have been left out crying because they have no remedy and where they can address their issues for giving them wrong results. So we can't have an Act which handles misconduct in exams on the side of UNEB, but then does not address issue of those who have complaints.
You're discussing what has not been brought before you. Next item. Yes.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, in your communication, you made reference to the timely submission of ministerial policy statements from both the government and the opposition to rhyme within the statutory time frames. Right Honourable Speaker, last week, the Minister of Justice was here, and he made some inept statements from the floor of Parliament, which were actually even expunged from the record of Parliament, but was ordered to return here and clarify particular positions in relation to how the forthcoming elections are being prepared. We're expecting the Minister here to respond to those queries away from his less than satisfying remarks he made here and disappeared in thin air. Honourable Speaker, now that the Attorney General is around and they work closely with the Minister of Justice, will he explain whether he is available to Parliament to respond to those issues? Because part of the budget could be responding to the forthcoming election, and there will be no other budget. Right, Honourable Speaker, would you demand of the Attorney General clarify if he is representing the Minister, and therefore clarify issues that have a time frame related to them? Right, Honourable Speaker.
Eji.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. I appreciate the issue raised by my senior colleague. I want to pledge to the House that we are in touch with the Electoral Commission. You want information that satisfies your queries, you give us time. I can pledge that next week we'll be in position to give that response.
But Speaker, that was not the instruction of the Speaker. If the Attorney General is amending that instruction, let him state so. The Speaker ordered that today the Minister appears to respond to these issues. Probably the Prime Minister in presence can respond to the absence of the Minister of Justice.
But you've heard from Doug. I think he's a better person to give a response than the Prime Minister. Honourable members, I want to correct what Lope was asking. That which association is that? The association is called a tour. A tour. That is a tribe from Abim. And Janet can clarify more.
Thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker. I want to thank you for this time. Honourable colleagues, when you look at Schedule 3 of our Constitution, Karamoja has 11 tribes. And the tribe in Abim is called a Tur. So those are the people and those are the students from Makerere University.
From Abim.
From Abim. Previously, before the 1995 Constitution, they were referred to as Acholi Labuor. So those are the people.
Thank
it is
you.
not an abbreviation. So I want
Thank you for the clarification.
I want to welcome them.
Atur's first turn again. Thank you. Thank you. Apoyo Vino. Yes.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, for the opportunity. I want to welcome the Tour Students Association of Makerere University. You are most welcome. This is your parliament, the parliament of the people, headed by the Right Honorable Anita Among, a very able lady. Apoyo Nubino.
Thank you. Thank you. Honourable members, you have something? Honourable members, I will allow only 2 matters. Then we go.
Thank you so much, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, I also want to take this opportunity to welcome you back.
From where?
I have a matter of national importance.
From where?
Bukedea. We saw you doing work in Bukedea, Right Honourable Speaker, and we want to welcome you back.
Thank you, and I bring you greetings from the Bukedea, mighty people of Bukedea.
Right Honourable Speaker, on the 31st of last month, there was a Supreme Court ruling, and I don't want to go through what happened. Everybody knows what it was about. But consequently, there are civilians who remained detained following the court-martial. However, whereas some of them should have ceased to be in prison, one, Dr. Besigye, has remained illegally detained in prison. The uniqueness about this is that yesterday we got information that Dr. Besigye has again stopped receiving visitors, including the wife who went there yesterday. He could not meet Dr. Besigye. The 3 people who are accredited to give him food, he has stopped meeting them, and he's on strike. Today, he was expected to appear at Uganda Road Court in a different case. We got information through court that he wrote to court saying, I am not able to come, I am indisposed, I am very weak. And the letter was shown to us in court. Right Honourable Speaker, we are worried that such a person who cannot come to court because he says he's indisposed still remains in an illegal detention. Would want the Minister of Internal Affairs to come and tell us the status under which Dr. Besigye is in an illegal detention. 2, the Attorney General said they were in processes of transferring civilians to civil courts. We want to know, as ordered by court of course, want to know how long this process will take now that there is a situation of somebody who has stopped eating, he's on hunger strike, he's too weak to appear in a civil court. Want to know what happens. So, Right Honourable Speaker, I come before you to request you to direct the Minister of Internal Affairs to come to this house and tell us what exactly is happening with Dr. Besigye and the other civilians. I want to thank you.
Thank you. Doug?
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker, and thank you, Honourable Francis Mwijche. The Attorney General made a statement on the floor of Parliament, and I echoed that statement the following day, by which we emphasized the government's commitment to fulfill all the requirements of the Supreme Court judgment. What I can say is that there are processes ongoing. I would humbly request my colleagues in Parliament to wait, be patient. We will present a report once the transfers are done. Thank you.
Thank you. Okello. Propo, I will come to you. Just a minute.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I rise on a matter of very urgent national importance regarding the absence of radiologists at our regional hospital. Madam Speaker, last week I had a patient who was referred to do a CT scan, and he went to Gulu Regional Referral Hospital. It was conducted, and they asked him to give a smartphone so that they give him the video. Unfortunately, he had no smartphone, so it had to be transferred or sent to another person who had a smartphone. And eventually it was sent to me. And they told him, come back after 4 days and get your results. At first I didn't understand why it takes about 4 days, until I asked a friend, an OB actually, who works in Mulago Hospital. And then that's when he started explaining to me that the policy has now changed. All the results are analyzed centrally from Mulago. And there are very few radiologists working on those issues. And indeed, it took 4 days for the results to come. But I was lucky that I had somebody who could interpret the results immediately, and I got the results of my patient immediately. Now, how about the other Ugandans who are unable to get people to help them interpret quickly? This is for me a very big problem, because emergency issues are not handled immediately. And my request and my plea to the Ministry of Health is that this issue must be urgently handled, since we are now in the budget process. Can we have radiologists employed and deployed? I'm reliably informed that it is not only in Gulu. Even Soroti Regional Hospital has nothing. Even Mbale, even Arua. So this is for me a crisis, and many Ugandans are actually suffering silently. So, Madam Speaker, Ugandans need an answer, and urgently. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Honorable Prime Minister. Even Sorot has the same problem.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. It is really an urgent matter. I'm going to get in touch with the Minister so that it is considered in the budget. I thank you.
Honorable Minister, we need to have, you cannot give equipments to a hospital and you don't have a human resource. We need to have the human resource at source. Like we passed the organ transplant bill, which is now an act, but we don't have the people there. They say the human resources are not there. So we need to have the human resource to operate those equipments for us to be able to treat our people. Next item, doctor. That is, it's not a vet. Next item.
Right Honourable Speaker, procedure. Right Honourable Speaker, the committee which I lead, the Government Assurance and Implementation Committee, we have a report on equipments within the hospital. And we did work throughout the entire country. We seek for your quick indulgence so that we'll have that report, so that the Parliament and the nation gets the whole picture of what is happening in terms of equipment, in terms of the professionals that are supposed to work, the technicians that are supposed to work on this equipment, the entire picture as it is throughout the whole country.
Okay, thank you. Next item. We'll have that on the order paper. Yes.
Item 3 on the order paper, bills first reading, the Valuation Bill 2024.
Honourable members, pursuant to Rule 128 of the Rules of Procedure, I want to invite the Minister of Lands, Housing and Urban Development to table the Valuation Bill for the first reading, together with the Certificate of Financial Implication.
Thank you. Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. In accordance with Rule 128 of the Rules of Procedure of Parliament of Uganda, I beg to move that the bill entitled the Valuation Bill 2024 be read for the first time.
Thank you.
The Valuation Bill 2024.
I do the certificate. Right Honourable Speaker, in accordance with Section 76 of the Public Finance Management Act, Cap 171, and Rule 118 of the Rules of Procedure of Parliament of Uganda, I beg to lay on table the Certificate of Financial Implication for the Valuation Bill 2024.
Thank you. Pursuant to Rule 120, as per Rule 129(2) of the Rules of Procedure. Thank you.
Item 4 on the order paper, laying of papers, the Tier 4 microfinance institutions and money lenders, lending conditions regulations 2024.
Honourable members, pursuant to Section 112, subsection 2D of the Tier 4 Microfinance Institution and Money Lenders Act 2016, I now invite the Minister of Finance, Planning and Economic Development to table the regulations, but in this case, it has been delegated to the Prime Minister. They wrote to me.
Right Honourable Speaker, the Tier 4 microfinance institutions and money lenders, lending conditions regulation 2024 is laid. I beg to lay.
Thank you. Honourable members, the Parent Act does not require parliamentary approval for the regulations to take effect. The regulations that have been tabled is for information purpose for the House. Thank you. Honourable Lop.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. Honourable Speaker, normally when I stand here, I tend to complain and raise issues of concern. Even in the brief report I'm going to read here, there's a few complaints and concerns. Allow me to also begin by complimenting government. I don't do this often. So I also want to compliment government for providing security to the demonstrators we saw yesterday. It's a good thing when the constitution is followed to the letter.
I don't agree with the reason they were demonstrating and some of the language used because they were threatening to beat up some members and so on. I hope police now investigate some of those indiscipline cases that happened within a peaceful protest, yeah? But the idea of Ugandans peacefully protesting and they are protected is a good thing. I hope that government will keep doing this for all other intending protesters. So government, today we have given you your flowers. Even though I learned that as those who were peacefully demonstrating and were protected by police, there are some others who are even much fewer that were being beaten up. So please don't put us in a difficult situation. We want to keep giving you flowers every so often, yeah? Keep doing that. Honorable Speaker, I rise to present a very brief report on an oversight visit that I carried out together with the shadow ministers to Inspire Africa Coffee Factory. The Office of the Leader of the Opposition organized an oversight visit to Inspire Africa Coffee Factory in Ntungamo District. I undertook this oversight visit on 11th December 2024 together with shadow ministers. The visit was in line with Section 6E1 of the Administration of Parliament Amendment Act of 2005 that empowers the Leader of the Opposition to play the oversight role and keep the government in check. During the financial year 2023-2024, government undertook to establish a tertiary hub for last-mile coffee value addition in Ntungamo District through the Science, Technology and Innovation Secretariat in the Office of the President under a private partnership arrangement with the Coffee Investment Consortium Uganda and Inspire Africa Coffee, both privately registered entities. The construction of this coffee value addition facility began in October of 2023 and had been projected to be completed by December 2024. We were told that the factory is expected to produce various coffee products, including instant coffee, drip coffee, malt coffee, coffee energy drinks, as well as beauty cosmetics. However, since this strategic government intervention was initiated, various stakeholders, as well as policymakers, have expressed concerns with respect to the implementation arrangements. Some of these concerns include: 1, rationale followed to establish this coffee value addition factory in Ntungamo. Number 2, the selection criteria followed to procure the private investor. 3, the reason behind the decision by government to support the building of a factory, a coffee factory in Ntungamo district, while not paying attention to other areas known to produce a lot of coffee in Uganda. 4, capital investment. The exact amount of money that the government of Uganda is injecting into this project, because that's not known yet. And 5, projected economic benefits in terms of the anticipated employment opportunities as well as export revenues. Therefore, the primary objective of this oversight visit was to further interrogate and verify all matters related to the above mentioned concerns as elaborated briefly before. During the financial year 2023, government earmarked and allocated 37 billion shillings, that's about $10 million US, in the national budget to support coffee value chain development under a newly created vote 167 in the Science, Technology and Innovation Secretariat in the Office of the President. Also, according to the annual budget estimates of financial year 2024-2025, an additional 75 billion was provided for in the corrigenda to the budget for financial year 2024-2025 and approved by Parliament to support coffee value addition initiatives. To date, a total of 112 billion shillings has been appropriated by Parliament towards support to coffee value addition initiatives. Some of these initiatives include promotion of Uganda coffee globally through coffee trade hubs and establishment of a tertiary hub for last mile coffee value addition in Ntungamo district, implemented by Inspire Africa Coffee, which according to Mr. Nelson Tugume, the proprietor, is at an estimated cost of $122 million US. That's about 451 billion Uganda shillings. It is important to note that these coffee value addition initiatives are not directly implemented by government, but rather through partnerships, such as the Presidential Advisory Committee on Exports and Industrial Development that is chaired by Mr. Odrek Ruawogo, the Senior Presidential Advisor on Special Duties. There is also the Coffee Investment Consortium, a privately registered entity comprising of about 21 coffee companies interested in promoting coffee production and providing value addition in the coffee value chain, and Inspire Africa Coffee, an affiliate of Inspire Africa Group, a human resource organization initially established primarily to address the challenges of youth unemployment on the African continent. Government argues that the initiatives will significantly increase the country's coffee export earnings through export promotion of processed, ready-to-drink coffee instead of the raw coffee beans. However, since the above highlighted coffee value addition initiatives were earmarked and subsequently funded by government, various stakeholders as well as policymakers have expressed serious accountability, legal and policy concerns with regard to the implementation arrangement of these initiatives. Therefore, it was paramount to further interrogate and verify all matters related to the implementation of these initiatives, to ascertain their feasibility and value for public funds in line with the existing legal and policy frameworks. Let me run through the areas of concern, Right Honourable Speaker. 1. Funding and transparency queries. In the financial year 2023-2024, the Government of Uganda allocated resources through the Science, Technology and Innovation Secretariat under the Office of the President towards the establishment of a modern industrial coffee park in Rashamire Town Council, Ntungamo District. We found that there is no memorandum of understanding between the Government of Uganda and this private entity. So the manner in which money was extended to this entity is not clear. Honourable Speaker and colleagues, it is wrong for taxpayers' money to be spent without any clearly defined binding relationship between the government and any entity, and in this case Inspire Africa Coffee, and no documentation whatsoever. The proprietor told us that there is a co-investment arrangement that was ongoing between the parties, that's government and them, but there was no clarity on whether this arrangement would result into a joint shareholding, a grant arrangement, or a bailout. We recommend as follows, together with my colleagues. 1, government should come out clearly on the relationship that is existing between Inspire Africa Coffee and government that warranted the disbursement of public funds to this private entity. Number 2, Parliament should stop any further disbursements to this entity until a clear and rational memorandum of understanding is reached at between government and this entity. Number 3, government ought to come out with a clear procedure on how private entities can get government support. Uganda has a lot of young and innovative entrepreneurs who only lack funding. If the government comes out clearly on the formalities, then more Ugandans could benefit as opposed to just a few. The other concern is unfulfilled government commitments. Uganda is currently the leading coffee exporter in Africa and the second largest coffee producer in Africa, having exported 6.13 million bags in financial year 2023-2024, valued at over $1.14 billion US. In order to handle the value additional call, government stipulated under the National Development Plan NDP3 that 2 modern industrial coffee factories would be established, one in Bugisu and another one in Uganda, because these are the highest coffee growing regions in the country. These 2 factories were to be constructed by the end of June 2025, when NDP3 would lapse. This was a commitment by government in NDP3. We are coming to the conclusion of NDP3, and Parliament has even passed NDP4. But these plans have not seen the light of day, Right Honourable Speaker. It begs the question, why did government prioritize a private plant in Ntungamo specifically, which is part of Uganda, fine, yet it did not even attempt to implement and fulfill the commitment made in NDP3, which was passed by Parliament. Honourable Speaker, government should budget for, as a recommendation, and embark on fulfilling the commitment it made in NDP3 to build a coffee factory in Bugisu and Central regions. The capacity of Inspire Africa Coffee Factory is small compared to the magnitude of the coffee produced in different parts of the country. Besides, it's not practical to expect farmers to transport their coffee from far-flung districts in the country to Ntungamo for processing. The third concern was uncertainty about the exact amount of money so far injected into this project by government. During our visit, Right Honourable Speaker and colleagues, the proprietor was unclear about how much money government has so far injected into this project. So it becomes difficult to establish the return on investment that the taxpayer will get. For as long as this information is unavailable or kept as a secret, people will keep raising eyebrows about this project. In the quest for accountability, we ought to start by being open about how much money has been injected in this project. There should not be anything to hide by government. The recommendation, Honourable Speaker, is that government should explain to Parliament and to the country how much money has so far been injected into this project, the terms of agreement, how the taxpayer will get value for their tax money. The proprietor said the factory will be completed in March of this year. That's next month. I don't know if that is going to happen. We are waiting. And begin full operations the same month, next month. Assuming that gets to happen, the cost-benefit analysis of investing in this entity should be examined. We need to know. There should be clear terms on what is likely to accrue from this investment. Every coin of taxpayers' money injected into this project must be accounted for because it's taxpayers' money. In conclusion, Right Honourable Speaker, let me state this for the umpteenth time. The idea of government bailing out or offering support to private companies is not a bad one in and of itself. The problem has been that for each of the private companies given money, there's no clear procedure on how this gets to be done. And Right Honourable Speaker, I've tabled those reports here. Atiak Sugar Factory, Day Biopharma, Rocco, and so on and so forth. Additionally, there is never agreement signed between the government and these private entities to spell out the terms and conditions of the support extended. Most disturbingly is that there is usually no value for the money extended to these entities after several years. For as long as these concerns are not attended to, usage of taxpayers' money will continue to be shrouded in mystery, and there will always be suspicion about these bailouts, given that they are accessed by a few people who probably have connections in government. Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker and colleagues.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Leader of Opposition. The House, you've heard what the Leader of Opposition is saying. Doug, we need a proper memorandum of understanding with the people we are giving money. We need to understand what government is doing, whether we are buying shares, whether we are giving them money just to support them. We need an MOU. And then I also want the Committee of Finance, Agriculture, Trade, Budget to take note of the concerns that have been raised by the Leader of Opposition since we are going into the budgeting process. Prime Minister, you have something? On what? You've just come. You've just come. It is not, we are not debating this report. I am telling them to take note of the concerns. This is an oversight report that has been brought by law. It is opening your eyes.
Right Honourable Speaker, I want to thank Law for those concerns. We've taken note, and as you've directed, Minister of Finance, Minister of Agriculture will be here to give
committees.
The answers.
Committees.
The committees, yes.
Sectoral committees.
To give answers to the questions raised. Thank you.
We actually want them to take note of the issues that are being raised. And on the issues that are being raised, they must report to Parliament, the committees, when they are doing that. Because if Inspire Africa gets money from government, then they should be able to go there and see what is happening. But that first, we must regularize the relationship between Inspire and government and Uganda. Yes. Honourable members, in the public gallery this afternoon we have a delegation of Africa Friendship Association from Istanbul, Turkey. You're most welcome. Thank you for coming. You're welcome to Parliament of Uganda. Have a seat. They are here to witness our proceedings. Then thank you. Next, yes, Jonah.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. Madam Speaker, I've been here, and the leader of the opposition has had so many of these oversight visits, and he has been producing good reports to this House. Without prejudice to your ruling, I would suggest, Madam Speaker, that you do a formal referral of this report to those committees formally, so that the leader of the opposition can make further submissions and clarifications on these particular issues, and then the committees can therefore formally report. If we allow them to just take note of these issues, we may lose track of the particular issues. It will also help us, Madam Speaker, follow up with your own plea to us. When we were passing some of the budgets in supplementary, I recall you made an undertaking and said, honorable members, please, let's do it for the last time, and we are going to follow up. And we listened to you, Madam Speaker, during that plea. So my issue is to request you to formally have these matters referred so that the committees can do a thorough job. And next time they come here for money, maybe we will not have that pulling of string, because issues would be clear that A, B, C, D has already been dealt with, Madam Speaker.
Doug?
Right Honourable Speaker, I'm seeking a clarification. While Honourable Dur is requesting that you formally make a referral of all the reports that the Right Honourable Leader of Opposition has presented before our Parliament to the relevant committees. I'm sure myself and my colleagues in Parliament, we cannot off-head tell which reports he has presented, because he has done this over time.
Let me help you in that one.
Yeah, I wanted to request that maybe we be given a list, we get to know which is which.
Let me help you in that one.
Thank you very much.
Honorable Leader of Opposition has been doing an oversight in most of this attack. They now inspire Rocco. Did you do Rocco? Yes. Leader of Opposition, I want to request you kindly to bring all those reports and lay them on table tomorrow, and we formally refer them for further action. The Luboy doesn't have.
Honourable Speaker, you said that Luboy, we shall wait for your report and the Deputy Speaker. So I am thanked as official, but we are waiting for you. Honourable Speaker, I actually have laid all those reports before, but I will lay again tomorrow. I have no problem at all. We shall print again and we lay. Because you see, in the past, for each of those, you kept tasking government to come back and respond. And they have not. But just for the avoidance of doubt, tomorrow I will be here and I will lay again, right, Honourable Speaker?
Yes. Let it be a substantive item. Reports of oversight from the Leader of Opposition. Thank you. Next item.
Item 5 on the order paper. Motion for adoption of the report of the Committee on Rules, Privileges and Discipline on the review of the Rules of Procedure of Parliament.
Honourable members, you may recall that on Wednesday, 5th February 2025, the chairperson of Committee of Rules, Privileges and Discipline, Honourable Katuntu Abudu, presented a report of the Committee on the review of the Rules of Procedure of Parliament. As you are aware, rules are always reviewed depending on the environment. The presiding officer deferred the debate to accord members adequate time to study the report. And I am convinced the 4 days have been sufficient enough for you to study the report and understand the report, and also understand the proposals that have been made by the committee. I now want to call upon the House I want to call upon the House. We open a debate on that. Yes, Egwalu.
Madam Speaker.
Honourable members, what you are going to debate is not going to form the changes in clauses. We will have to go to committee stage and look at a clause by clause and put your input in that clause. The debate is on the report, just like we always handle. Yes.
Madam Speaker, like you rightly put it, we had the 4 or 5 days to go through the report, and I would propose that we move straight to committee stage so that we can follow clause by clause in details. Yes. Yes. You wait. Wait. No, wait. Yes.
They've given you the floor. Can I use your floor?
Honourable members, remember, if you're going to debate the report, it's okay, but we shall limit now on the what? On the at committee stage. Is that what you want? Is that what you want?
Madam Speaker, the honourable colleagues did not understand me. It is at committee stage that we shall have sufficient time to discuss clause by clause. Because what's going to happen now, we are going into general debate, we shall not have sufficient time.
Is that seconded?
Yes, Madam Speaker.
Is that second? Honourable members, honourable members, I wish you could understand what Jonathan is saying. Jonah, you help your namesake. Jonah, help your namesake. Being senior.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. My name was even mentioned in this report, and there's something that was said. Actually, the chair called me. You remember one time I raised the issue of the committee.
So what is the procedure matter?
That's what I want to raise, Madam Speaker. I raised the issue of the Committee on Human Rights coming to the opposition, and you directed this House that at one time we invite the leader of opposition, the Attorney General, Doug, and me, plus the Prime Minister, to see how we forge away what exercise should be carried, because I was saying that the Committee on Human Rights is an accountability committee. But incidentally, I was not invited to appear before the committee to give my position. And my good friend, Honorable Abdu, to whom I emulated to become a lawyer, he said he invited me. I said no. He said the leader of opposition was informed. I was not informed. And that component of the Human Rights Committee, I would pray, if possible, that it should be saved for that reason, because we did not appear to give our position, yet you are directed, Madam Speaker. And there are many issues I want to talk about Human Rights Committee being headed by the opposition.
Honorable members, I also want to instill discipline in us. If the matter is concerning somebody in opposition, you should discuss that matter with a leader of opposition, so that the leader of opposition is able to transmit it to his member or whichever. Yes, Honorable Abudu.
It is true. I would like to confirm that I called my friend, the Honorable Gozanga Seung, complaining about remarks he had made to a radio station. Right Honorable Speaker, and the record is clear. Before we began this process, I did direct the clerk to the committee to formally invite, one, the leader of government business, the government chief whip, all chairpersons of committees, the leader of opposition, the opposition chief whip, and all whips, plus all members of parliament, all, including Honorable Seung, all of you, in writing, and all your documents were deposited in your pigeon holes. All. Yes. Yes, because the first time we met, except the office of the clerk had responded, I directed the second time. And during the second time, I emphasized, actually, especially the office of the leader of opposition, the government chief whip, and the leader of government business, that they should actually even sign for it and prove to me that actually they had served. None of them replied. None. Twice. And we had adjourned the meetings twice because of non-response. Two, there are members who did, and that include the Honorable Dr. Lulume Vaiga, the Honorable Opendi, the Honorable Mavenjina, and I think we have put them in the report. They replied. They responded to the communication we did. So it is being disingenuous. It's not fair, especially when I hear things on radios and so on. I mean, I, together with my colleagues on the committee, try to act as professional as possible. We don't want to be dragged in unnecessary controversies. Really, it is unfair. It is very unfair. Because we are conscious these rules are for everybody. Why would we sit in a committee and decide on them without your input? But you all kept quiet. And now you are complaining. It's not fair.
Thank you. Ajat, you're a member of the committee.
Yes, you are not debating the report, Right Honourable
Did
Speaker.
you present your minority?
I did, and that's the
Okay.
matter I want to talk about.
Okay.
Right Honourable Speaker, the matter of
But
the
you're
leadership...
very smart today.
Thank you so much, my Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, the matter of the leadership of the Human Rights Committee is part of the report. I even made a disclaimer here that whereas I didn't report about it, I don't agree with the views on a minority report. Therefore, it's a subject of debate.
Yes.
We shall debate it, and whichever positions that the
Exactly.
House will like will take the day. So it's
Yes.
part of the report and is debatable.
Thank you. Thank you. That's Alebtong.
Thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, this report we are talking about from Honourable Abdu Katuntu is a very bulky report. And most of us who are in the House would agree with me that we need sufficient time to go through it clause by clause. I therefore stand to second the motion from Honourable Jonathan Ebwalu that we move direct to the committee stage and have sufficient time. Thank you.
Thank you. Seconded. Those who are seconding that we go to clause by clause for you to understand the changes. Yes. Huh? Honorable members, remember that the report is only informative. The report only informs you. But what is important is a clause by clause debate and the amendments that you're going to bring on clause by clause. Are we together? You want second?
Madam Speaker, I wish to respectively disagree with the motion because, Madam Speaker, the very reason why we want to be very careful at the committee stage is because, first of all, it is because these rules are very important.
Okay, you debate. And you debate. Debate. Go ahead and debate. Okay. And I'm giving only 5 people.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker.
Don't listen to Linos.
Right Honorable Speaker, these rules are very important to this House. My question, first of all, is every House makes its own rules, for which I wanted to seek a procedural guidance. Every House makes its own rules, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, this House is entering its final year. The procedural matter I wanted to raise before, for guidance before I start the debate, is whether this is not to preempt the 12th Parliament, because, Madam Speaker, we have entered the year of elections. Why don't we allow the rules of Parliament to be made by the 12th Parliament, and we proceed with our own rules, Madam Speaker? And that is
Honorable,
I was seeking for
as a senior in this House, you know that rules are amended at any one time when it deems fit. They are a living document that you need to refer on a day-to-day basis. When we got COVID, didn't we make an amendment on our rules? So there is no problem amending these rules. Even those who are coming back on 12th Parliament, like some of you, will amend. Yes, Ethel. Ethel Edakas.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker, for allowing the debate. And right away, I go to the recommendation on page 38 about traditional wear. Madam Speaker, the committee recommended under Part 2 that the committee recommends that as follows: a pair of long trousers with a jacket, kanzu and jacket, safari suit and
that is which clause?
Under, we are looking at.
Which clause is that?
Under Rule 82.
That's what I was saying. You would reach there and look at it.
Madam
But
Speaker,
it's okay, go ahead.
Yes, I concede, and many of us here, as we go to that very point, we should note that we are not in agreement with removing traditional wear as part, removing it from our rules as part of our dressing. So let's get there. Please, in advance, note that we shall be against this recommendation. I also agree that we can go to committee stage.
There is a motion. Motion takes precedence. Motion? Okay.
Honourable Speaker, this might not be captured at committee stage, but I thought I would be guided a little bit. In the committee report, the Right Honourable Speaker directed the Committee on Rules, Privileges and Discipline to conduct a comprehensive review of the rules of procedure of Parliament, excluding Rules 7 and 8, and report back to the House within 2 months. Now, Rules 7 and 8 are to do with the powers of the Speaker. So I wanted to be guided. powers of the Speaker entrenched that they cannot be revisited? I want to know the wisdom behind saying this should not be looked at, because who knows, Honorable Speaker, they could even have added new powers if you had allowed them to touch Rules 7 and 8, or perhaps balance things up and so on. But I just wanted to understand and get guided the reason behind saying, please don't touch Rules 7 and 8, which are to do with the powers of the Speaker. Because I thought none of the rules is entrenched. We can review, we can amend, we can make alterations as we deem fit on any of the rules. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. Motion.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I move that we end the debate and then we go to the committee stage. Since right from the first submission, we are already moving on to what is supposed to be discussed at the committee stage. Madam Speaker, I beg to move.
Thank you. Is that seconded? Seconded by Apollo, Itungo, Rionga, Wakas, Agnes, Alebtong, Lillian, Isaac, Thomas, Chikube, Edakas, Pesh, Elda, Annette, Atiang, Okorimo, Olanya, Linos, Kelly, Auma Kelly, Apolot, Nakasongola, Mbale City, Kodi, Namaingo, Emmanuel, Apache, Jonan, Soroti. There is Gwere, Soroti East. Honorable members, I now put a question that the report of the Committee of Rules, Privileges and Discipline on the review of the rules of procedure of Parliament be adopted by this House. Those in favor say on the contrary, nay. The ayes have it.
Committee of the whole House. Rule 2.
Madam Chair, amendment of Rule 2, interpretation. Rule 2 is amended by 1. Deleting the definition of a cabinet, substituting for the definition of leader of government business the following. Leader of government business means the Prime Minister appointed under Article 108A of the Constitution. And 3, substituting for the definition of leader of the opposition the following. Leader of the opposition means the member of Parliament who is the leader in Parliament of the party in opposition to the government and having the greatest numerical strength in Parliament. 4, substituting for the phrase leave of Parliament or the House for the phrase leave of the House. 5, substituting for the definition of official report the following. Official report or Hansard is a record of parliamentary proceedings in text or audiovisual. 6, substituting for the phrase by order of Parliament or the House the phrase order of the House. 7, substituting for the definition of precincts of the House or Parliament the following. Precincts of Parliament means the chamber and offices of Parliament and the galleries and places provided for the use or accommodation of strangers, members of public, and representatives of the press, and includes while Parliament is sitting and subject to any exception made by the direction of the Speaker, the entire building in which the Chamber of Parliament is situated, and any forecourt, yard, garden, enclosure, or open space adjoining or appertaining to that building and used or provided for the purpose of Parliament. 8. In the definition of question, by deleting the phrase "and the question of privilege." 9. By substituting for the definition of the word whip the following: whip means the government chief whip, chief opposition whip, and the party whip. 10. By inserting in the appropriate alphabetical order the following definitions: dignified as prescribed under Rule 8.2. Official record includes the official report, audio-visual recording of the proceedings of the House or committees. Privilege means powers, privileges, and immunities enjoyed by the Parliament collectively and by members individually under the Parliament Powers and Privileges Act. Report of a committee means the report signed by the majority of the members of a committee, the minority report signed by members dissenting from the opinion of the majority, and members abstaining. Ruling means a decision by the Speaker on a matter of order, procedure, or privilege. Subsidiary legislation means any document by which a power conferred by any act or the President, Minister, or any other authority to make, or a power exercisable by making proclamations, rules, regulations, bylaws, statutory orders, or statutory instrument is exercised. Justification: to delete definitions that have not been used in the rules. 2. To improve, clarify, and align some definitions that have been used in the rules with the Constitution and other legal provisions. 3. To insert definitions that are necessary for better interpretation of the rules. Madam Chair, I would have begged to move, but ordinarily we handle the definition sections at the end. So I would pray as the colleagues think about it, we handle this particular one after we have concluded the process.
Thank you. We are starting over close. Rule 2.
Yes.
Rule 3.
Right Honourable Speaker, Rule 3 should be amended by substituting for sub-rule 4 the following: where the oath of allegiance and the oath of a member is to be taken after the first sitting of Parliament, the Speaker shall administer the oath of allegiance and oath of the members in Parliament. Justification: to ensure that a member who joins Parliament after the first sitting takes both the oath of allegiance and the oath of a member of Parliament.
I put a question that Rule 3 be amended as proposed. Those in favor say and the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Rule 9.
Right Honourable Speaker, we do propose that Rule 9 is amended in sub-rule 2 and 3 by inserting immediately after the word hand the word side. 2. By inserting immediately after sub-rule 4 the following: where the Speaker determines that it is not practicable to comply with the sitting arrangement in sub-rule 2, 3, and 4, the Speaker may permit a member to sit on either side of the House. 4b. Notwithstanding sub-rule 4a, the front row seats to the right-hand side of the Speaker shall be reserved for the lead of government business, government chief whip, and ministers. And b. Left-hand side of the Speaker shall be reserved for the lead of the opposition, opposition chief whip, shadow cabinet, and party whips of any other party in the opposition. 3. by substituting for sub-rule 5 the following. The Speaker shall ensure that each Member of Parliament has a comfortable seat taking into consideration the age and physical disability of a member. 4. By inserting immediately after sub-rule 5 the following. 5A. Notwithstanding sub-rule 4A, the Speaker shall ensure that the seats allocated to older members and members with physical disabilities are reserved for such members. Justification: to give the Speaker the discretion to allow the free seating whenever necessary, and also to cater for the seating arrangement of members with disabilities and older persons.
Aisha.
Thank you, Speaker. I have no problem with the allocating sitting area for older persons. The point of contention is offering free sitting to the whole of left. I was persuaded to give some space because we're a big number. If we restrict ourselves left on left and right on right, probably some people cannot get a seat. But the humble prayer is that at least 2 rows be reserved for the opposition. The minority needs to be protected. At least 2 rows, because the leadership in front needs people to speak to behind. It's not been usual that you'll find the opposition shift on the right-hand side. It's the people in government that shift on the left. But if we are to give in, we give in at least the rows.
Yes.
So the only difference, and I'm explaining because there hasn't been a debate so that people can follow through. The difference with my divergence is that I'm not suggesting that the whole Parliament should be free sitting. Colleagues say Speaker should restrict the front benches to the ministers on both sides. I am praying that we reserve 2, the front and the second one, so that leaders here have people to speak to when they turn behind. That's the prayer.
I think she's not asking for too much. No. Honorable members, Honorable Aisha is proposing that as opposition, the first floor and the second floor. Second floor. Huh? Now, in the circumstance, I wanted to ask a question. You're now talking about the third floor. I am talking about what Honorable Aisha is saying. Now, if you're saying up to the third floor, in the circumstance that you have space like the one you have between Honorable Bedi and Honorable Polot, can't one of your colleagues sit? No. Will you leave that space free? Will you leave that free?
Right, Honourable Speaker, that's similar to asking. You see on the front bench this side there's only 2 people. I don't know whether I can cross over and I go and sit there.
By the way, I agree with what Honourable Aisha is saying in totality.
So I wanted to actually suggest a slight amendment because she's talking about 1 and 2, but I want to suggest on both ends actually, aside from the front rows, that we count 1 and 2 because it helps when we are coordinating our our operations, our debates, and so on. It helps a great deal when we are together. So also, I would not want a situation where the second row or third on the other side is filled by opposition people. Because, Honourable Speaker, some people can choose to say, okay, let's now do it that way. So you find even on the government side, on the second and the third, there is opposition people. So that's why I'm suggesting that aside from the front benches, 1 and 2 on both sides should be protected.
1 and 2.
Thank you very much.
But anyway, that is a simple thing. notwithstanding what the speaker will pronounce. Yes.
Okay, maybe let me try to clarify, then members can speak from an informed position. Currently, what has been happening is that whenever they have declared free sitting, because of challenges of numbers, and I want you to know that, the issue is about the numbers. You'll find that many members, especially this side where the other side there are many, so there is an overflow. The overflow has been sometimes even on the front bench, on the opposition. And the innovation we are bringing is, even if there is an overflow,
Panadol.
and we are saying even if there is an overflow, both this bench on the opposition and the government side, because of a hierarchy of leadership in this house, should be reserved for those who are entitled to sit on it.
Yes.
That's number one.
Yes.
Number two, if you can listen. Number two, when do we declare free sitting? Free sitting is because the seats are not enough and you have a challenge of numbers. So whenever you continue exempting more, you'll cause more crisis of members lacking space to sit. What we are looking at is, let us respect the leadership of both sides. But the other seats can be available to all other members such that members can sit comfortably. That is the innovation.
Thank you. Yes, Honorable Angoda.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker.
Venus.
Madam Speaker, last week when the Honorable Katuntu presented here and the Honorable Aisha in her minority also presented to us who were here, we appreciated the well-thought position that came from the chair and also the Honorable Aisha. Those two, the front and the next one, provide an opportunity for sharing information. Many times when we are there, we also give some backup. Now, we cannot have the rest of the seats behind open, and yet we have members who are standing. So I think let's go by the position that Honorable Aisha has presented. We unanimously moved and adapted to it the other time. We can do the same again today. I thank you very much.
Thank you, Alebton. Then, Naboth, I'm coming to you.
Thank you so much, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, the clarification I'm seeking, whereas I don't totally disagree with the proposal by Honorable Aisha, and I think it is very healthy. We've had scenarios where sometimes some members decide to abscond, they decide to walk away, and when there are very critical matters of national importance to be discussed. At times when we are sitting in other spaces, for example in Kololo, as a space for Parliament to sit, we've had scenarios where we were sitting at the regional sitting in Gulu, and the issues discussed or to be discussed are very pertinent. And we don't feel comfortable to leave the front rows empty. Therefore, I would like to agree with the proposal by the chair of the committee that based on the discretion of the speaker, when she finds it necessary, he or she, the speaker, can be the one to guide on free sitting. Thank you.
Honorable members, what Honorable Aisha is saying is not ring fencing per se. We are not ring fencing. When it depends on the circumstance. Like now, you cannot come to the house, and because you have seen only Lop sitting, then Panadol is going there to sit, Macho, and yet you know very well that is supposed to be for opposition leaders. You get it, and from today, Macho, that's where you're going to be. I mean, Panadol, that's where you're going to be sitting. Stop. So, depending on the circumstance. So for me, I don't really have a problem, because if leader of opposition is sitting here or cow, they may want to consult. They may want to consult from behind, what do you think, and that kind of thing. Same thing here. That is that.
Right. Can I suggest a way forward? Because the sort of thing we are discussing is important and so on. I was like been consulting my colleague. Let's concede to the two rows. I concede to the second row and the
Thank you. I put a question that roll not.
Thank you. Madam Chair, I would like to be on the record.
Yana, let him first speak.
Thank you, Chair, Madam Chair. We are discussing and mentioning opposition and government side. Where does this leave the members of the independent?
Where are you seated?
But usually we also occupy that seat. Like government side, NRM, we usually sit
I am the Dean of Independence. I will know where my independence will sit. So, and the amendment does not take 9-1. Okay? Yes. Let's first hear from the minister.
Yeah, thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. I think in the amendment, the committee mentions physical disability. But we people who sit here are not all physical disability. We have a deaf representative. Because physical disability, according to our act, is somebody caused by cerebral palsy, amputation of a limb, and paralysis or deformity. So we need to look at whatever it is in there.
There's also Panadol who has no eye.
He also has a definition here. Even the Panadol with partial disabilities on the law. So let us recognize that it's persons with disabilities who are members of parliament of this house, so that you don't have words which are discriminating others. Thank you.
Yes. Honorable Katund.
I concede. For Honorable Mugema's purpose, I concede.
Jonah?
Yeah, Madam Chair, I wanted to be on the record that I actually oppose the amendment entirely for the reasons that the sitting in Parliament is not just a mere rule. It draws from the recognition that there is democracy and two sides in the
Left
House.
and right.
And Chair, Parliament, as you know, there are also occasions where there are tensions may arise out of the subject matter at hand. The separation or proposed, including the demarcations that you recently ordered, speaks to that spirit, that this is a house of two sides and there may be situations that may need physical barriers. And that's why, Madam Speaker, first you protected yourself there, and then you have put these barriers here. That recognition should not be swept aside. I also want to say that some of the proposals are actually redundant because the rules as it is, I can read sub-rule 4. The Speaker shall reserve seats for independent members of Parliament and other categories of members. What are those other categories of members? Oh, exactly. So, to again say that reserve for older persons, reserve for this, what if next time we have another category coming into this other parliament? We cannot list them. So by saying other categories, I feel every other situation has been taken care of. Madam Speaker, lastly, if this amendment is to go through, because I want to say that I want to propose that we insert where you, Madam Speaker, or the presiding officer consults the two whips. It would be courteous that before such a decision is made, that there is free sitting, there is consultation. Because, and this is in good spirit, Madam Speaker. I know the House has been trying to fight that we must be together. We are together, but let's recognize the pillar of democracy, Madam Speaker.
Madam Chair, I wish to respond to my brother's submission. One, just imagine a situation where you have a house and you only have 10 MPs, this particular house, in the entire house, this side, and the rest are the other side, how are you going to govern it?
Clarification.
2, the Speaker has been invoking what we call general powers. She has. What this rule is providing are specific powers of the Speaker in regarding to the issue of sitting. It can't be redundant because the Speaker wasn't empowered other than using the general powers she has for members to be comfortable. And don't allow that sort of situation, because chances that whenever the Speaker uses general powers, somebody will allege sometimes even bad faith. But here he will be you want to inform me on the rules? Really? Okay.
You see, thank you, senior member, for giving way. Madam Chair, as members of Parliament, we are mandated to be here whenever there is a sitting. And it's only on rare occasions where a member maybe is indisposed and the Speaker must be in know of your absence. So what I want to inform the honourable member, whether there are 10 members seated on this side and the other side has 100, business can continue. We've been in this house where the opposition say we shall not be in this sitting. Once we move out, the Speaker rule says, no, members, some of you come and sit where you want, where the opposition has been, and the house goes on. So what am I saying? Is that the Speaker of Parliament has all the powers to determine our seating arrangement. But following the rules, because already this house has two sides, the ruling government and the opposition. So when you look at and independence, so I don't know, you can correct me, because what you talked about the numbers 10 on this side wouldn't arise whether we are 10 and the other side is a bigger. It can still remain as the rule has been. That's what I want to inform you.
Honorable Aisha.
Right, Honorable Chair, allow me inform Honorable Jonathan and colleagues that this report is alive to the fact that we are in a democracy and we subscribe to the Commonwealth countries that have a sitting arrangement in Parliament. And the report recognizes that the members in the ruling party will be on the right-hand side and the members on the opposition will be on the left-hand side. This report recognizes that, but it also recognizes that there are exceptional circumstances. So now we are talking about are those exceptional circumstances where the Speaker has already said free sitting. So what the major report was saying, the free sitting should exclude, whatever the circumstance would be, should exclude the front. Now he has conceded to the fact that the free sitting, whatever the circumstance may be, should exclude 2 benches on the front side of the opposition. Right, Honourable Speaker, it is also okay for the public to see that their members of Parliament are not there. If the seats are empty, let people know that members of Parliament either have walked out or have absconded from duty. So it's okay.
Thank you.
Will you allow me read the amendment as proposed?
The amendment?
Yes.
You read the amendment. Hold on, what?
Right, Honourable Speaker, the colleague have conceded. I therefore
Madam Chair.
move.
Eki, how do you access the microphone?
I continue.
Aisha, can you read?
I therefore move that Rule 9 is amended by inserting immediately after sub-rule 4 the following. 4A, where the Speaker determines that it is not practicable to comply with the sitting arrangement in sub-rule 2, 3, and 4, the Speaker may permit a member to sit on either side of the Speaker. 4B, notwithstanding sub-rule 4A, the Speaker shall reserve the front rows to the right and left-hand sides of the Speaker for the ministers and shadow ministers respectively, and the second row on the left-hand side of the Speaker for members of the opposition parties in the House. Justification: is to give the Speaker discretion to allow free sitting whenever necessary. 2, to reserve the front seats on either sides of the Speaker for ministers and shadow ministers. 3, to reserve the second row seats on the left-hand side of the Speaker for the opposition purposes for consultation purposes. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And then the amendment of Honorable Samuel to...
Yeah. Right Honorable Speaker, I considered after listening to my colleague.
Thank you. So we are taking with the amendment of Honorable Aisha and Honorable Samuel. And that also happens. I now put a question that Rule 9 be amended as proposed. Those in favor say and the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Rule 11.
Rule 11 is amended by substituting for sub-rule 4 the following. Nomination of the candidates for election to the Commission of the 4 members of Parliament referred to in sub-rule 1F shall be made by the government and the opposition sides in accordance with the rules set out in Appendix BA. Justification: to provide for detailed procedure for nomination and elections of the 4 commissioners to the Parliamentary Commission, which is not provided for in the rules.
Continue.
Right Honourable Speaker, the justification has been that whereas the parent act had provided for election of the members of the commission, the practice has been designation. And then the rules had introduced the word designation, which is contrary to the parent act. So we are trying to streamline our rules in accordance with the administration of the Parliament Act, which provides for the election of commissioners.
Thank you. Aisha? 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 Aisha?
Thank you, Chair. There is no disagreement on the proposal.
I put a question that Rule 11 be amended as proposed. Those in favor say and the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Rule 13.
You had all the time. You had all the time to go to the committee. Proceed on what?
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, before you will move to committee, you guided that when we are at committee stage, members will be able to debate and discuss. So it was your ruling, Madam Chair. And it's basically that's what we are trying to follow. That you grant us opportunity to debate at each clause at committee level.
We are proceeding really very well. I would go the next.
Procedure, Madam Speaker.
Procedure on under which rule? 8 is Madam Teacher.
Right Honourable Speaker, I'm proceeding under a rule that talks about your general powers as a Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, the procedure issue I wanted to raise was to seek your guidance under your wide powers to be clarified. You have just ruled here that we have passed the clause, but we have commissioners in this House right now.
4.
And I understand that, and I was trying to consult Honorable Katun here to know if what I understand is proper, that we cannot make rules that act backward.
Yes. Retrospective.
Indeed. Now, Right Honorable Speaker, now that we have commissioners and we make this rule, and you have guided when I raised the matter about the fact that this might have been work for the next parliament. You said indeed we still need to make rules for this parliament. Does it mean that now that we have that rule, we are going to get new commissioners, or are we making this for the future? And are we supposed to legislating for the next parliament, Madam Speaker? I want to be clarified.
These amendments shall not have retrospective effect. So the commissioners, as currently constituted, were elected in accordance to the rules as they were then. But tomorrow, the vacancy can fall, either by an act of nature, or by which could be that one I don't want to talk about, or resignation, or even whatever, for whatever reason. Then that commissioner, a new incoming commissioner, why don't I explain first? Then that incoming commissioner will be elected in accordance with the rules as we pass them. So we are not first of all, to lose the position of the commissioner, you must do so in accordance with the rules and the act. As of now, none of those commissioners have violated any of the provision to lose the seat.
Oweekitiibwa. Oweekitiibwa.
Thank you. Chair, I wanted to ask clarification from the Chair of Rules. Except for adding the word that the election will take place in accordance with appendix proposed under BA, sub-rule 4 of the rules, they have replicated the same. If we can read together, the rule as it is now says nomination of candidates for election to the commission of the 4 members of parliament referred in sub-rule 1F shall be made by the government and opposition sides. The committee has just added, that it will be in accordance with appendix. So the clarification I wanted from the chair of the rules, he says that an election took place in accordance with these rules, the current rules. The clarification I wanted from him to brief us, when did this parliament sit to elect the commissioners?
I said in the current rules, we were using the word designation. You get it? 2, to understand this amendment, you have to read it together with now what is provided for on page 118, appendix BA, because now it gives the detailed procedure of election, which did not exist. And in our view, you need to read now appendix BA, which introduced a very different method of elections, such that you satisfy both the Administration of Parliaments Act and anything to do with the designation as it has been. It can't be in the case that office falls vacant tomorrow.
Do you have the procedure in the old rules? It is not there. So they are only introducing, and they are saying within 2 days of the first sitting, of the first meeting of the first session of Parliament, that is when we should have the election take place. Yes, and this is in conformity with the Administration of Parliament Act. You have something
Chair.
contrary?
Chair, I think to facilitate debate of this particular rule, would be procedure right for us now to discuss the procedure, because whether commissioners would be elected or not, it wasn't a matter of contention. The law actually required us to have elected commissioners.
Yes.
Now, how are they elected would be the issue. If it pleases your chair, you would take us to that particular appendix at this time, so that people agree with the appendix or make possible amendments to it.
Before that, Madam Chair, you see, Madam Chair, I pray that we don't create a situation where we are as if preparing rules for the next house in anticipation of our being there, if God makes us be there, unless we are stating it expressly here that those clauses breathe after that Parliament coming. Because after swearing off in the Speaker, the Parliament makes its own rules. So the moment we tamper and give procedures with the election of commissioners, that means we are preparing rules for the next house, which we are not sure of being there. All by my Rosala will be there, you never know. And prayers, no, there's nobody who is assured of that. It's God, it's your personal chi that's going to help. Madam Chair, I think we have to take keen interest in that. Otherwise, we cannot prepare rules for the next Parliament.
Chair, take us through the procedure. Appendix B. BA. Honorable members,
okay.
You cannot expect new members to come and start sitting and making rules. Even the rules we are using were made by people who were not here. Yes. Unless if you're... Most of us, you know very well. You go ahead.
Madam Chair, election rules, election law is always about the future, not the past. You cannot enact a law on elections in the past. It's about election which is going to happen in the future. Other than having a debate like we used to have some time when we are down. So what we are looking at currently, what we are looking at I am already taking any clarification. I don't want anybody to imagine there is a big question which...
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. Honorable Budu, you are the one who has been mentoring us, saying that we don't legislate in anticipation. Now it seems you are now taking us to anticipate, because the Commonwealth practice, the foundation upon our rules are prepared. Every parliament makes this rule. We can adopt the rule. If a new parliament comes, they can decide to adopt that rule or make its own rule. So I want to seek clarification from you. That is it proper for you to be on record to make statement in anticipation that the next parliament, this rule we are making for them so that it will help them to conduct election, their first sitting.
Rule 13. Honorable Budu, Rule 13.
Colleagues.
Rule 13.
Yes. Rule 13.
I did. We are finished.
I'm just going back to Rule 13. As I go back, honorable colleagues, we did not have election and now we are providing for election. Really, that's the essence. Rule 13 is amended.
Honorable members, I think members didn't hear the question. I put
Yes.
a question that Rule 11 be amended as proposed. Those in favor say on the contrary, nay. The ayes have it.
Rule 13.
Rule 13. Amendment of Rule 13. We propose amendment of Rule 13 by inserting immediate after Sub-Rule 1 the following. Subject to Sub-Rule 1, at least one of the members of the Pan-African Parliament shall be a woman. At least. Right Honourable Speaker, we are aligning with Article 4.2 of the protocol to the treaty establishing the Pan-African Parliament community relating to the Pan-African Parliament, which requires that one of the 5 members shall be a woman. It's not like this is independent. We are just aligning our rules to the treaty establishing the Pan-African Parliament.
Honourable members, that was not existing in the original rules, and it is in alignment with the Constitution and then the treaty. Aisha?
I agree with the majority report.
Yeah, Madam Chair, before you put a question, I wanted to propose an amendment.
Yes.
To Rule 13.
Yes.
To read as follows. A member elected to Pan-African Parliament shall relinquish any other position, or a member elected to Pan-African Parliament shall not hold any other position in Parliament. This will allow the member not to hold 2 concurrent, like currently the chair of rules is also a member of the Pan-African Parliament.
Honourable members, yeah, it is a good one. You cannot be in Pan-Africa and you are in the chair of the committee.
Right Honourable Speaker, I concede.
You concede?
Yes.
Right Honourable Chair. Right Honourable Chair. I think Honourable Dole must have noticed that the chair was giving a lot of time to the deputy chair to do a good job. So it's good he has conceded, because his deputy chair was doing a good job as well.
You have considered?
Chair.
Honourable members, I put a question that Rule 13 be amended as proposed with amendment. Those in favour say on the contrary, nay. The ayes have it.
New rule.
The new... No, he has not resigned.
Well,
he has a dean who will...
I can say the rules don't have retrospective effect. And I think we have already explained that to the honourable members. Rule 5. We are now Rule 14.
14?
I think
there's a new rule?
Yes. The rules are amended by starting immediately before Rule 14 the following. Role and functions of lead of government business. There shall be in Parliament a lead of government business designated as such by the President, who shall be responsible for the coordination and implementation of government policies across ministries, departments, and other public institutions. 2. The lead of government business shall perform such other function as provided under the rules. Justification to provide for the role of the lead of government business in the rules. Colleagues, as you realize, whereas the role and functions of the leader of oppositions provided for in the rules were cited on the role and functions of the leader of government business. So we are now just transplanting them as they are in the Constitution. The role we are giving here are those which are provided for in the Constitution, like those which are in the rules for the leader of opposition were also transplanted from the Constitution.
Yes.
Madam Chair, I want to thank the Chair. Let him come out straight on this new rule. Because what we have in our rules or in the Constitution is the Prime Minister being the leader of government business. Are we creating a new position? And if it is, if not, I would wish seeing this new insertion talking specifically the Prime Minister as being the lead of government business. Otherwise, if we are creating something new, we are going to have a challenge between the Prime Minister and the new lead of government business. Could we understand what you exactly mean on this? Because the lead of government business by our constitution is the Prime Minister.
Honorable Katuntu, isn't this really redundant?
No, it isn't. Actually, I wish you had read the amendment. Have you? It is saying, there shall be in Parliament a leader of government business. It is there because that's what the Constitution provides. Designated such by the President.
Yes, that's Constitution.
What the Constitution provides. Who shall be responsible for coordination and implementation of government policies across ministry, department, and other public institutions. I am scratching my head to see the controversy.
You know, Honorable Abudu, who shall be responsible for coordination, implementation of government policies across ministries, departments, and other public institutions? That is from executive, not legislature. Let your neighbor explain to you. That is from executive, not legislature. It is defined by the executive. We are legislating on what we do day to day in Parliament. Now, this is what executive has tasked or chosen, given to who? The leader of government business.
You see,
and then the leader of government business shall perform such functions as provided under the rules. But this is what the president has designated.
The one which has designated is under 1.
Even 2.
Huh? No. The what has designated is lead of government business. That actually it is not even the president. The Constitution designates the leader of government business to be the Prime Minister. Then who shall be responsible for coordinating and implementing of government policies across the ministries within within Parliament?
Chair.
And that's the Prime Minister.
The Prime Minister, yes.
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 Who is the head of government business? I don't know whether I understand you.
Our roles are defined by executive.
Chair.
Her roles are defined by executive.
No, you see.
Chair.
You know, let's not go into. Let's not clash.
Yes, Chair. Chair, from that amendment, it presupposes that the president can appoint another lead of government business apart from the Prime Minister. And that is very dangerous for us to put that in our rules. The law is very clear, the Constitution is very clear that the Prime Minister is the leader of government business in Parliament. And we don't need to provide for it in our rules.
Under the Constitution 108A, the Prime Minister shall be the leader of government business in the Parliament and be responsible for coordination, implementation of government policies across ministries, departments, and other public institutions, and perform such other functions as may be assigned to him or her by the president. By the president. As may be conferred on him or her by the Constitution of Uganda.
Chair.
Yes.
What Honorable Wanika is very fearful of is taken care of under the definition. In the definition, the leader of government business is defined as a Prime Minister. So we cannot have another office created. But the role of government business in Parliament is not stipulated in the rules as of now. So the committee thought it was prudent to get the role of the leader of government business to be stipulated in the rules and define who is the leader of government business as a Prime Minister.
Madam Chair, I think, let me,
Yes.
I'm asking the Chair, Madam Chair, through you to the Chair, there's no problem by making a transplant. We can expressly state it and include the word Prime Minister in the new insertion so that it sits in our rules comfortably. But the moment you don't put it there, in our rules we create offices.
And no, the rules exist to operationalize the laws.
Yes.
But we should be restrained. We should restrain ourselves to legislature. Honorable Dur.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Madam Chair, my understanding of the rules of procedure of Parliament is that it is only applicable when Parliament is in motion. That when you are seated there to guide our rules how we conduct business within this building, anything in the rules that purports to prescribe things outside would not be in the spirit. I therefore, and I'd already noted that I would oppose that amendment because one, we will be dictating to the president, the executive, on what his or her appointee should be doing, which is not our work. If we intend to extract some roles that are limited within parliamentary business, for example, leader of government business, who is the Prime Minister, shall be the one answering during Prime Minister's question. That is something else. We should be explicit, but to lift from the Constitution as it is, because the Prime Minister has responsibilities in the executive, but also here. Yeah.
Honorable Katonto.
I still am not convinced. And let me tell you why I'm not convinced. Does the Constitution provide for the function and roles of a leader of opposition? Have we transplanted those roles from the Constitution to our rules? Have you read it? You see, yes, just look at it. Just look at whether we have translated the roles given by the Constitution to the leader of opposition, and we have also provided for in our rules. What we are trying to do, and if you can listen, what we are trying to do is exactly to do the same. What you've already done for the office of leader of opposition, and we are doing it for the office of government business. And when you look at the new rule, it is not inserting anything outside what is provided for.
Yes.
But if you are not comfortable, we can leave it.
Not we being comfortable, but less separation of powers. And as the Honorable Duru said, when the House is on motion, what is expected of? Yes?
Chair. Thank you so much, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, I stand to support Honorable Katuntu in that, marrying with what Honorable Jonathan has stated, the leader of government business is a member who sits in this parliament. And when you look into our rules of procedure and even the Constitution, all of us have been mentioned. Call it the leader of government, the chief whip, the members, and everybody else. So for me, I'm of the proposal that we stand over this, and then the chair, Honorable Katuntu, sits down and not only lifts from the Constitution, but comes with a clear proposal of how we are going to govern the leader of government business when we are seated and when Parliament is on operations. Because it should come very clearly.
You want to govern the leader of government business?
Madam Chair, with our rules of procedure...
No, I am saying you need to govern the leader of government business.
Madam Chair, let me withdraw that word. Madam Chair, let me withdraw that word. But how the leader of government business is going to operate, for me, I feel should come out very clearly on our rules of procedure. Thank you.
Madam Speaker.
Honourable members.
Madam Speaker. About that.
Honourable members, can we stand over this?
Chair. Actually, if the House is uncomfortable, we can leave it out. If you think we can leave it out, and then you have a lead of government business whose role are not provided for under our rules.
Honorable Abudu.
Can we go?
Honorable Abudu.
I concede.
You concede? Okay. What are we cheering? Now, I want to ask, what are we cheering?
Rule
I
15.
concede.
Okay.
I concede.
Thank you.
Rule 15.
Rule 15.
Madam Chair, before you go to
15.
there is need to introduce also the lead of opposition, that there will be a lead of opposition in Parliament, that we are doing. It's not, they
It
only
is
show
on-
roles. They don't show anything as far as there will be anything. They only start with roles. In our
Article 82A, leader of opposition.
What about including it in our rules? The way we've introduced whips, the way we've introduced lead of government business, there is need also to introduce the leader of opposition. We start by saying the roles will be this and that. We don't see. Look at the whips. We introduce whips that there will be whips.
Okay, look at Rule 14.
We start by showing the roles.
I'm saying look at Rule 14. Role and function of leader of opposition. Rule 14.
You don't introduce. Let me just consider, but you don't.
No, you look at Rule 14. Read it.
Madam Chair, under Rule 14, we give the function of the leader of opposition. We say the principal role of the leader of opposition is to keep the government in check. I would have suggested the way we've introduced that there will be whips, we would also introduce that there will be a leader of opposition, and then we mention the role.
Check the constitution, which is prim.
Thank you.
Honorable Katuntu. Next item. Next.
Rule 15.
Rule 15. Rule 15 is substituted for the following. There shall be in Parliament a government chief whip appointed by government from among members of Parliament representing the ruling party, a chief opposition whip appointed by the party in opposition to government having the greatest numerical strength among opposition parties in Parliament, party whips for any other party in opposition. The role and functions of the whip are to ensure that members attend, participate in proceedings and vote in Parliament, organize party business, keep members informed of parliamentary business, supply lists of members to serve on standing and sectoral committees, coordinate and implement agreed parliamentary business, act as intermediaries between leaders and other party members, arrange representations of party members on official parliamentary delegations, and act as tellers during divisions. Justification: to consolidate the functions of the whips under one sub-rule for clarity and ease of reference. Right Honourable Chair, colleagues, the function and roles were spread, so we've just consolidated them in one rule and went ahead to, I think, assign some other functions which ordinarily should be the functions of the whips.
Thank you. Aisha?
I agree with the proposal.
I put a question that Rule 15 be amended.
Madam Chair, I wanted to use the opportunity to correct an anomaly under Proposal 2B, organized party business, to add the word party business in Parliament. The responsibility of organizing party business is with the Secretary General. So when you leave it to organize party business
in Parliament,
here, we add the word in Parliament.
In Parliament. Chairman? Let's first sort out one thing at a go.
These rules govern, according to Honorable Du. He was a few minutes here saying these rules govern only internal workers in the Parliament.
No.
So they cannot go and apply outside Parliament.
No, for clarity.
But, yeah, just come. But anyway, that notwithstanding, now that he has come to the position I concede.
Thank you.
He
Thank
has
you.
only moved from the other position.
Yes. Yes.
Chair, I'm also proposing. In the last Parliament, there was an interest of having vice chief whips. Deputy. And even
in the last Parliament, you're there.
I was following, right, Honorable Speaker. For the NRM side, I was following. Yes. And now, in this one, the opposition also had interest in having it.
We only have whips. Our rules only provide for whips. If the other one is administrative, you can plan according to what you want.
We could propose it at this
No,
moment.
we are not proposing. I put a question that Rule 15 be amended as proposed. Those in favor say on the contrary. With amendment from Honorable Du, those in favor say on the contrary, nay. The ayes have it.
Rule 16.
16. Rule 16.
Amendment of Rule 16.
Rule 16.
Rule 16 is substituted for the following. A member may, with the consent of the Speaker, move that a rule be suspended in its application to a particular motion before the House. A member moving the motion under Sub-Rule 1 shall give reasons why the rule should be suspended in its application to a particular matter before the House. Where the motion is carried, the rule shall be suspended in its application to the matter before the House. This rule shall not apply in respect to rules 5, 6, 10, 11, 12, 13, 1, 24, 88, 93, 98, 107, 108, 109, 110, 111, 112, 118, 124, 125, 126, 127, 134, 143, and 195. Justification: to enhance the entrenchment of rules that cannot be suspended in conformity with the Constitution and with due regard to natural justice. Right Honorable Speaker, many of these rules we have added are a result of the Constitutional Court decision, where when we suspended the rules and the court held that the application of that rule, suspending the application of that rule will lead to unconstitutionality. So that's what we've just done, just to harmonize this with the court decisions, and also to make sure that this rule, including the rule suspending, to be entrenched, that it can't be suspended.
Honorable Jotha, Aisha.
I entirely agree with the proposal.
Thank you. I put a question that Rule 16 be amended as proposed. Those in favor say on the contrary. The ayes have it.
Rule 19.
19. You'll recommend 19.
Rule 19. Sitting of the House. Rule 19 is amended by inserting immediately after Sub-Rule 1 the following. Subject to these rules, the Speaker shall sit at such place. The House shall sit at, Rule 19 is amended by inserting immediately after Sub-Rule 1 the following. Rule 1A. Subject to these rules, the House shall sit at such place as the Speaker shall determine. To make provision for Parliament session in any other place, including regional sittings.
Aisha.
No objection.
I put a question that rules can be amended as proposed. Those in favor say on the contrary. The ayes have it. Rule 19. I put a question that Rule 19 be amended as proposed. Those in favor say on the contrary. The ayes have it. 25.
Rule 25.
24.
25.
Not that my sister had an amendment.
Thank you so much, Right Honorable Chair. This is about quorum in the House. Right Honorable Chair, often than not, to ascertain quorum in the House, we consider members present in the House and also members in virtual attendance. But also you'll note that most decisions here are made by voice voting through aye and nay. However, people in virtual attendance cannot be heard to pronounce their decision, whether they are saying aye or nay. So I am only nay. I'm here to propose that for purposes of quorum, where a decision is made through voice voting, members in virtual attendance should not be considered to be part of the quorum because their voices cannot be heard. Right Honorable Speaker, in the committee, we entertained members from the technical team who spoke to us, and were expressed about that there's no way, as currently the way situation is, there's no way people in virtual attendance can pronounce themselves through aye and nay, because voices can come in at different times. There's a problem in network. You cannot enter, except if a decision is going to be determined by either show of hand or roll call. So this proposal is that those people in virtual attendance can only be part of the quorum if the decision is made through other methods, roll call, house hand counting and others, but not voice voting.
Honorable Aisha, that is administrative quorum is about the number, not the voting. The people who vote will be present and they will vote, but the quorum will ascertain the quorum both virtually and what?
Physically.
Right Honorable Chair. Right Honorable Chair, let me make a final statement.
Let's go. So,
I contend that this matter is not just administrative. It's very, very important. That's why we say quorum shall be determined at voice taking, rather vote taking. And vote taking include